Imagine someone walked up to you today and handed you 5 passports. One belongs to Malaysia, one belongs to Singapore, one belongs to Thailand, one belongs to Vietnam, and one belongs to the Philippines. Now imagine they gave you just 30 seconds to choose one, and whatever you picked would become your home for the rest of your life. No changing your mind, no second chances, no vacations somewhere else when things get difficult. Just one decision that would shape every ordinary Monday morning, every grocery bill, every hospital visit, every commute, every paycheck, and every weekend for decades. So, which country would you choose? If you enjoy discovering fascinating stories about countries, economies, and the world around us, make sure to subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. It only takes a second, but it helps YouTube recommend these videos to more people. I'd also love to know where you're watching from. Leave a comment with your country. If you're from Malaysia, comment Malaysia Boleh. If you're watching from anywhere else, tell us your country and which of these 5 nations you'd choose before watching the rest of the video. Now here's the interesting part. Most people answer this question in less than 10 seconds. But almost nobody answers it using the things that actually determine whether life becomes easier or harder. Instead, they remember a vacation, a viral TikTok, a skyline glowing at sunset, a luxury hotel, or a beach that looked perfect from a drone. The problem? Vacations are carefully edited. Life isn't. A country can look incredible for 7 days and become exhausting after 7 years. The paradise in a travel brochure never shows the electricity bill. The luxury apartment tour never tells you how many years of salary it costs. The smiling cafe owner never mentions waking up before sunrise every single day just to keep the business alive. That's because countries, just like people, have 2 personalities. There's the version they proudly introduce to strangers, and there's the version only residents truly get to know. Today's journey isn't about the first version, it's about the second. Because choosing where to build a life isn't the same as choosing where to spend a holiday. One decision changes your Instagram feed, the other changes your future. So today we're putting 5 of Southeast Asia's most talked about countries under the microscope. Not to crown the richest, not to crown the prettiest, and definitely not to crown the most famous. Instead, we're asking one simple question. Which country gives ordinary people the best everyday life? That means looking beyond headlines, beyond tourism ads, beyond economic rankings. Because a country's GDP won't comfort you when you're stuck in traffic for 3 hours. A beautiful skyline won't lower your rent. And a booming economy means very little if it leaves everyone exhausted. Every country offers something extraordinary, but every country also asks you to sacrifice something in return. The real question is, which sacrifice would you actually be willing to make? That answer isn't as obvious as most people think. And by the end of this video, one country quietly rises above the rest, not because it's perfect, but because it avoids the biggest mistakes its neighbors struggle with. But before we reveal that, let's begin with perhaps the friendliest country on this list. A place where strangers often smile before speaking, where family isn't just important, it's everything. A country made up of thousands of islands that somehow feels connected by something much stronger than geography. The Philippines. At first glance, the Philippines seems like a place that has already figured out the secret to happiness. Walk through a neighborhood and you'll hear children laughing outside long after sunset. Visit a local celebration and it can feel as though the entire street has been invited. Even if you've never been there before, chances are someone will try to make you feel welcome. That's not clever marketing. It's something visitors mention again and again after leaving. But here's a question. Can kindness alone build a comfortable life? Or does reality eventually catch up with even the warmest communities? To answer that, you first need to understand what makes the Philippines different. Unlike many countries, the Philippines isn't one continuous landmass. It's an enormous chain of more than 7,000 islands spread across the ocean. That creates something unusual. There isn't just one version of life. Someone living in a quiet coastal town may experience a completely different reality from someone living in the middle of Metro Manila. And those differences matter. Because whenever people talk about life in the Philippines, they're often describing only one tiny piece of a much larger picture. In smaller communities, neighbors frequently know one another. Families stay close. Celebrations become community events. Support often comes from relatives instead of government systems. That creates a powerful sense of belonging. And in today's world, belonging might be more valuable than many people realize. Across much of the developed world, loneliness has quietly become one of society's biggest challenges. People earn more, own more, yet often know fewer people living next door. The Philippines reminds us that wealth isn't the only measure of quality of life. Sometimes, having someone who genuinely cares about you matters just as much, maybe even more. But life isn't built only on emotions. Sooner or later, bills arrive. Rent becomes due. Healthcare becomes necessary. And that's where the country's biggest challenges begin to appear. Economic opportunities remain uneven. Many skilled Filipinos leave home each year in search of higher-paying jobs overseas. They're nurses, engineers, construction workers, teachers, hospitality professionals, people whose talents are recognized around the world. The fact that so many succeed internationally says something remarkable about Filipino workers. But it also raises another question. Why do so many need to leave home to reach their full potential? That's one of the country's greatest contradictions. It produces extraordinary people, yet many believe their biggest opportunities exist somewhere else. Daily life can also become unpredictable in major cities. Traffic in Metro Manila has become legendary, not for its efficiency, but for its ability to turn short journeys into exhausting experiences. A trip that looks simple on a map can consume hours, time that could have been spent with family, building a business, or simply resting. Instead, it disappears behind endless lines of vehicles. Infrastructure continues improving, but demand often grows even faster. Healthcare presents a similar story. Excellent medical professionals exist throughout the country, especially in larger cities. Yet access can vary dramatically depending on where someone lives. The difference between urban and rural services remains significant. Still, despite these obstacles, millions of Filipinos continue describing their lives with something many wealthier societies struggle to maintain: hope. That's difficult to measure with statistics. No graph can fully explain why communities remain so resilient despite economic pressure. Perhaps it's faith, perhaps it's culture, perhaps it's generations of families learning to depend on one another. Or perhaps happiness has always been about more than income. Then there's one advantage that quietly changes almost everything: language. English is spoken widely across the Philippines. For international companies, remote workers, students, and foreign visitors, that removes one of the biggest barriers people often face when moving abroad. Communication becomes easier. Business becomes easier. Friendships often become easier too. It's one reason the Philippines has become one of the world's leading centers for customer support and business process outsourcing. Global companies trust Filipino professionals because communication feels natural. That's a powerful competitive advantage. But advantages never exist without trade-offs. So here's the real question. If warmth, community, and human connection are some of the greatest strengths a country can offer, can they outweigh lower wages, inconsistent infrastructure, and limited economic opportunity? Or does another country on this list manage to combine happiness with greater stability? The next destination might surprise you, because it's famous around the world for paradise. Yet the people living there experience something tourists almost never see. What happens when the dream destination becomes everyday life? Thailand, the dream that changes once you move in. If someone asked you to describe Thailand using just 3 words, what would they be? Beaches, street food, temples. For millions of travelers every year, that's exactly what Thailand is. A place where turquoise water meets golden sunsets, where a delicious meal costs less than a cup of coffee in many Western cities, and where every corner seems to have another unforgettable experience waiting. But here's a question very few tourists ever ask. What happens after the vacation ends? What happens when the suitcase stays unpacked, the alarm clock replaces the beach schedule, and Thailand stops being your holiday and starts becoming your everyday life? That's where the real story begins. Thailand has earned its reputation as one of the world's favorite travel destinations for good reason. Its landscapes are stunning, its cuisine is celebrated across the globe, and its hospitality industry has been refined over decades. For visitors, it often feels effortless. But living somewhere and visiting somewhere are 2 completely different experiences. The first surprise for many new residents isn't the weather, it's the rhythm. Life moves at a pace that often feels calmer than many major cities around the world. Conversations tend to be less confrontational, patience is valued, and maintaining harmony is deeply woven into everyday interactions. Many long-term residents say this slower, more relaxed atmosphere becomes one of Thailand's greatest strengths. Daily life simply feels less rushed, and that can be incredibly attractive. Imagine finishing work and stopping at a neighborhood food market where dozens of freshly prepared meals are available without spending a fortune. Imagine weekend trips to mountains, tropical islands, or historic cities without boarding an international flight. Imagine warm weather almost every day of the year. For many people, that sounds close to perfect. But perfection has a habit of hiding its complications. Because while daily comforts can be affordable, building a long-term future isn't equally easy for everyone. In major cities like Bangkok, housing costs have climbed steadily over the years. Popular neighborhoods that once attracted young local professionals are becoming increasingly expensive, especially in areas popular with international buyers and long-term expatriates. For someone earning a foreign salary, those increases may feel manageable. For someone relying on average local wages, the calculation looks very different. And that's one of the biggest misunderstandings about Thailand online. Much of the content celebrating life there is created by people whose income comes from somewhere else. Retirees, remote workers, business owners serving international clients, digital entrepreneurs. Their experience is real, but it isn't everyone's experience. A comfortable retirement funded by overseas savings tells a very different story from a young Thai graduate trying to buy a home or support a growing family. That's an important distinction. Because countries shouldn't only be judged by how they treat visitors. They should also be judged by the opportunities available to the people who call them home. Healthcare is another area where Thailand earns well-deserved praise. Private hospitals have built an international reputation for modern facilities, experienced specialists, and high-quality treatment. In fact, thousands of medical travelers choose Thailand each year because they can receive excellent care at costs that are often lower than in many wealthier countries. But excellent private care doesn't automatically mean every resident enjoys the same experience. Public healthcare serves millions of people and, like many systems around the world, can experience heavy demand. Your experience often depends on where you live and what resources are available to you. Then there's another challenge that rarely appears in travel advertisements: the air. Every year, parts of northern Thailand experience seasonal air pollution linked to agricultural burning and weather conditions. Some days remain perfectly clear. Others can bring air quality levels that encourage people to stay indoors. For residents, this isn't a headline. It's part of planning daily life. And then comes Bangkok, a city full of energy, opportunity, incredible food, and non-stop activity. But also a city where traffic can test even the most patient person. Hours spent sitting behind the wheel aren't unusual. It's one of the hidden costs of living in a rapidly growing metropolitan area. Not every expense appears on a bank statement. Some are measured in time, others in stress. Still, Thailand continues attracting people from around the world. Why? Because despite its challenges, it offers something many modern societies struggle to provide. A lifestyle that encourages people to slow down. Meals become moments to enjoy instead of tasks to finish. Markets become gathering places instead of shopping centers. Weekend escapes are part of normal life, rather than once-a-year luxury. That quality is difficult to calculate with numbers, yet anyone who's experienced it understands its value. So Thailand presents an interesting trade-off. If your income is secure, your quality of life can be remarkably comfortable. If you're building your future on average local earnings, the path may require much more patience. Neither picture is wrong. They're simply different. And that's exactly why comparing countries is so complicated. The same place can feel like paradise to one person, and a daily struggle to another. Which raises an even bigger question. What if there were a country where opportunities were expanding so quickly that every year seemed to bring new possibilities? A country where factories, technology companies, and investors are arriving at an astonishing pace. A nation that seems to be reinventing itself before the world's eyes. Rapid growth sounds exciting. But can anyone keep running forever? In the next part, We'll discover why Vietnam has become one of Asia's fastest rising success stories, and the hidden price that often comes with living in a country that's racing toward the future.